Yes, I want it to disrupt the whole broadcasting market. What would be wrong with that? Hi, it's me again. Yeah, and I found this headline in my inbox. Have a look at this. BBC at 100. Scrapping the licence fee would disrupt the whole broadcasting market. What would be wrong with that then? What would be wrong with disrupting the entire broadcasting market? Nothing in broadcasting has changed in donkey's years anyway until the streaming giants came along and traditional TV channels realise, oh, where's our viewership gone? You know, especially the BBC, because the BBC used to be the number one place you would go for your big drama series. Right? ITV had some crackers as well, but the BBC was known for it around the world, wasn't it? Back in their heyday, obviously. Not anymore, we all know that. Now, if you want a good, solid drama, a world-leading quality drama, where do you go? You go to a streaming giant. You go to Disney Plus, you go to Netflix, you go to Amazon Prime TV a little bit. But you know what I mean? You don't turn to them. Something needs to change in traditional broadcasting because people are turning away from it. So if cancelling the licence fee disrupt the whole broadcasting market, good. I don't know where's the problem there. Let's have a look. Today, in a world where TV screens are filled with content created by the likes of Netflix and Amazon, some believe the licence fee needs to change. Some would like to see it abolished altogether. Yeah, that's me. Me. Probably quite a few of you out there, I would imagine as well. I mean, come on. I'm in a new place now. Many of you know I've been moving around recently and I'm living on my own now. And I have accidentally gone and rented the draftiest little cottage I could find in my budget. And my budget wasn't very much. Right. So I'm living cheap. And this place is so drafty. I've had the central heating on and I cannot believe how much it's costing me to heat this place. And, you know, like I say, I've got a half decent full-time job. I do all right, you know, but I'm really going to notice it this winter, I tell you, when my gas bill comes in. And there's many people out there, many people that aren't as lucky as I am. I mean, I accept I'm very lucky. 159 quid a year would be like a jackpot to so many people who are struggling out there. Do it. Get that telly licence bloody cancelled. It's ridiculous. There are those, for example, who would like the licence fee to become a tax, connected to taxes paid on homes similar to council tax or incomes. Now, I'm not one of those. I hope it doesn't go that way, because at least as it is at the minute, you can opt out of the bloody thing, can't you? As long as you know the rules, which are very, very simple, really, aren't they? Don't watch or record anything that's being broadcast or use BBC iPlayer. Boom, you've saved 159 quid a year. You're welcome. If it turns into a tax on your council tax or something else, I might have to start paying it. So how the hell could you dodge that? How? Some would like the BBC to rely more on funding from advertising. But the UK TV advertising market is worth around $4 billion a year, while the BBC licence fee generates $3.8 billion. And that there is the one reason that the BBC don't want the licence fee going anywhere. They're earning pretty much the entire advertising market for television advertising in the UK. ITV, for instance, I believe they turned over about 1.4 billion last year, all from advertising and selling shows to streaming services, all commercial operations. Right. But what this bloke here who wrote this, who was it? Robert Picard, Senior Research Fellow for Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, what he's forgetting there is that the BBC already make a lot of commercial money. BBC Studios is a commercial company, turns over 1.1-ish billion quid a year. They have many other commercial companies, one of them called UK TV Networks. Dave Gold, Yesterday, all that. I think Yesterday's still in it. I'll have to double check that. And that makes good money. They're not shy about showing advertising. It's just when you see the numbers like that, the entire market for television advertising in the UK is worth 4 billion and the BBC gets 3.8 gifted to it. And that also makes it sound even more unfair to other channels, doesn't it? You know, ITV have to work hard to make the dramas, to get people in, to make the game shows, to get people to watch, to turn over 1.4 billion quid a year. BBC doesn't even have to try, and it's been given 3.8. How is that fair in any way, shape or form? It has to go. It has to change. It has to. Others argue that the BBC should become a voluntary subscription service, falling into line with Disney Plus, Netflix or Apple TV. Well, that is how all TV channels are going to go. It's going to happen, isn't it? It's not that long into the future you need to look to know that that is what's going to happen to all TV channels. just obvious. But we're not there yet. That's not where we are yet. We can't do that yet. So they need to have some kind of a hybrid model. I mean, even ITV, for instance, is a free-to-air TV channel that shows advertising, but you can pay them a subscription fee to have advert-free ITV Hub, or I believe ITVX or something's coming, or it might already be here. You know, that is a hybrid model. Sorry for the jump cut there. I was just coughing my absolute guts up. Dusty in this tiny little spare room I've turned into my office. But yeah, that is a hybrid system. And that is how the BBC should be looking at it now. Start getting some advertising on board. Start looking at how you can monetize something like iPlayer to the world. Why is it just the British people that have to be your audience? Netflix isn't just being sold to American consumers, is it? So why can't BBC iPlayer become a global service? That way, the world is their lobster. All them customers out there that could pay the BBC a subscription fee every month. They'd make more than their 3.8 billion. Of course they would. Netflix does. What's Netflix's budget for programming this year? Wasn't it like 22 billion or something ridiculous? Could be you, the BBC. It could. My own studies, not my studies, the bloke that wrote this, make it clear that the current television funding model, licence fee for the BBC, advertising and or subscription for commercial networks, blah, 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 coexist well, and that efforts to merge them would damage all three. Subsequent research reveals that BBC funding does not undermine commercial broadcasters, which remain highly successful and competitive. There is an argument there for that, right? That if the BBC, when commercials start showing ads, that ITV, Channel 4 or other broadcasters may suffer because some of the advertisers would go over to the BBC. But to me, that doesn't hold water at all. Look how many TV channels are out there, right? And let's say just a toothpaste advert, right, for a well-known toothpaste brand. You don't just see it on ITV, do you? You'll see it on 4, you'll see it on 5, you'll see it on Sky channels, you'll see it on UK Gold. Advertisers don't just advertise on one channel. They go across a range of channels to make sure people are seeing their ad. So for me, it doesn't hold water that it would damage advertising budgets for other channels. And if it does, because it's a more competitive environment, which means channels need to make better shows to get more viewers in, to win the advertisers to spend the money. We win. We, as the viewer, would win in every way, shape or form. You'd be 159 quid a year up. You'd be getting better programming. Oh, you just got to watch some ads in return for that, which I'm prepared to do. Doesn't bother me. Everything has ads on it now. I mean, I subscribe to Discovery Plus, which I think is fantastic. I enjoy Discovery Plus a lot. I pay for that, and it's got blooming ads in it. It has ad breaks. There's so many ad breaks, like 2.5 minutes long now, which is a bit of a Mickey tape, but it is very cheap. So it's okay. And you can pay a bit more to get rid of the ads. I'm just so tight. It's not something I'm going to do. But yeah, none of the arguments hold water. It's got to go. The BBC need to stand on their own 2 feet. How is it okay that they can receive not far off the entire market for television advertising just being given to them every year? None of the other channels really benefit from that. How is that fair? ITV and Channel 4 are public service broadcasters also. Why don't they get any of it? Why does it all go to the BBC? It's not fair to the other channels, and it's not fair on the British people, and it's not right that the BBC can't even manage that money properly and end up with a 300 million black hole. They need to go with a hybrid model, advertising, but probably subscription as well. My thoughts on it, I don't know. Hey, I'm not an expert on all of this, that's just how I see it. If it goes to tax, I think we all lose. The way it is at the minute, if we keep the status quo, it's not the end of the world. And I think that's what's going to happen. I do think that the licence fee model is going to get another 10 years because with all the comings and goings in the government, nothing's going to get signed off, nothing's going to get done. And the licence fee charter expires in 2027. If it gets to 2025 and something isn't written in stone that's going to happen, the BBC can rightly put their hands up and say, look, we don't have time to implement being commercial or subscription. We just don't have the time now. There's only like 2 years left. We need another 10 years. And they will get it. Of course they'll get it. But I don't know. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully, I'll see you in another video again soon when I... Ta-da.